You set a good example by snitching on your friends in the mob.
We're not in Brooklyn anymore.
I don't think there's anywhere further from Brooklyn than this rat hole.
I'm sick of being in witness protection.
Welcome to France. Try to fit in. I'm getting tired of finding you a new place to live every 90 days.
All right, so while Cyrus and I were off watching some lame-ass ghosts, watching
Awesome-ass
Insidious Chapter 2. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. While we were watching a different film.
Well, he was being too frightened to admit it to anyone.
Yeah, I was frightened to go see another movie I would hate. But anyway.
I'm a man. I don't get scared by no stupid ghosts.
Anyway, we were watching a different film in a different theater.
Yeah.
You two were watching this movie, The Family.
Well, see, while you sad sacks were watching some lame-ass horror movie, the co-host and I went to see our boy Robert De Niro.
That's right.
Bobby D.
Bobby D. And a lame-ass gangster.
I knew that you were going to say that.
Yeah, I saw it coming, man.
You know what you
I
do?
wasn't trying to hide it.
No.
I'm going to say this so you don't have to show that you're lying anymore so you can get away with it. You can cover it up. Whenever you start to lie and not tell the truth, or you're about to make a joke and you getting ready to do that punchline, well, you work that collar like Rodney James. You ain't even got no tie. You know?
He get no respect. He get no respect, not even from these movies.
Yeah, right.
Apparently, neither does Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro needs to be doing that more.
Poor Robert De Niro.
I don't get no
man.
respect.
That guy's career has really
Again.
taken a turn for the meh.
Yeah, yeah. Because I have to
Every
admit,
time you count him out, he'll come back and do something good.
That's
and that's the
true.
thing. I mean, and because he did something good, which was Silver Lining Playbook.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we were both in the theater, just hoping to God that, man, maybe this will be another good one.
I heard some
Another
things,
notch in his
co-host.
belt.
Okay, as far as what it's about, let me see if I can do this. Basically, this is a family that's in the witness protection program. Because Robert De Niro was, I don't know, he's Robert De Niro from all his gangster movies.
Yeah,
pretty much.
He's a mob. Yeah, he's a mob guy.
He's a mob guy, except that at some point he turned state's evidence, rat out his family, and now there's been a big hit on him. There's been a price on his life. It's up to $20 million now. And Tommy Lee Jones is the FBI agent who's in charge of shuttling him around. And apparently, every time they move them somewhere, they can't keep him there for long because they go back to their mob tendencies. Matter of fact, he's a guy. He's a stone psychopath, as co-host was bringing up, because it's like, okay, we're gonna put you here on the French Riviera era. Mm-hmm. Don't tell anybody your name. Stay cool. You can live here for a while. Now you go oh, maybe he gets out. He talks to people. Somebody sees him. No, it's not that. If somebody tells him something he doesn't like and he kills them. Yeah. Will murder somebody.
People start disappearing around him and his family.
Are we talking about innocent people?
I'm talking
pretty much.
They've been moved to Normandy in France. Mm-hmm. And the movie starts with you kind of know the family. They seem like a regular family with their problems. They got 2 kids. And then a big problem they have is that, okay, French people are disrespectful to them because they're Americans. But, right off the bat, Michelle Pfeiffer, who plays his wife, she goes to a grocery store where the guy insults her. So she quietly goes to the back and sets the place on fire and walks out.
She doesn't set the place on fire.
Oh, she blew it up.
She blows it
She blows it up.
Do people die?
Oh yeah.
Oh, not right there, but people die all through this movie.
Yeah. No. When you look at that blast going through, those people fucking died.
You're right.
In that building. I mean, there ain't nobody surviving that shit. Period. Yeah.
Okay. When they even get to the house in the middle of the night, and the kid's like, man, I'm ready to get out of this car. It stinks like a skunk's ass. He's like, oh, it's a goddamn dog. When everybody goes in, he gets everybody. He goes back to the car and pulls out this body that he had killed and wrapped up. He tells the dog, hey, sorry, I had to blame it on you. He goes to bury it somewhere. Later, they call a plumber over, and the plumber's like, oh, I don't know. It could be your pipes. It could be the city. You call my wife. Maybe we work a deal. And because the guy is going we work some kind of deal, Robert De Niro takes a bat and just beats him. He takes him to the hospital. They show him bones are separated.
Why'd you beat him to a pulp? He's the only plumber within a radius of 20 miles.
But he disrespected us and he made you wait on him, honey.
Jeez, honey, I survived.
And the guy was trying to rip me off, so put yourself in my shoes.
Well, I definitely wouldn't have beat him up. I mean, who's going to fix the pipes now?
Well, who's going to rebuild the supermarket that burned down the day we got here? Huh?
So, you know what? See, that's the thing that I was wondering about this movie, because that's the gist of it. It's a family it's one of those mob fish out of water stories and that's a tricky thing, because this is a family of mob people who they can either be the nice mob people who have learned the error of their ways and are trying to move on, or they can be the crazy mob people like we have here. But these movies always want to get you to identify with them.
Yeah, and I don't know if the identifying part is to identify the fact that they have kids, because even the kids are fucking crazy.
Yes, they are.
I mean, they are fucking batshit crazy. People I'd never heard of.
I've seen.
Yeah.
Although the girl looks like a teenage version of
Cameron Diaz.
Brit Marling.
See, I thought she looked
just
exactly
like
like Cameron Diaz. I was like, if this girl doesn't go on to be in the next Charlie's Angels movies, I'm gonna be shocked.
I mean, she's super pretty, and she's got like some chops where like I can see this girl taking off with a career. And even the kid who plays the son, you know, he's like they're both really good actors, and you kind of like them at first, but they take things to such extremes, like the girl, anytime somebody messes with her, she beats the shit out of it. Like, just completely beats the shit out of them.
Mob style.
Yeah.
Where it makes you wonder, like, were these kids in the mob too? Because the way they're beating up on these teenagers is like, they're on the verge of killing them.
It's genetic co-host.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where like, okay, just having that in the movie doesn't necessarily make it bad. It all depends on how you play it.
And by the way, if you want to know the kids' names, Diana Agron is the girl.
Right.
Yeah, and John D. Leo
is the boy, yeah.
But like you could make this work if there's a certain way you have to play a dark comedy like this. And this plays it completely the wrong way. Because as the two kids beat people up, they play like loud rock and roll music, almost like like it turned into a cartoon. You want to know how old you guys are? You're so old that you remember back when Luc Besson made good movies.
Yeah. And see, that was my thing. Luc Besson is somebody, he's kind of hot and cold with me. And he's a director that I admire, because Luc Besson, now it's funny because you're talking about a movie that's about a bunch of crazy mob people. Is this rated R, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Luc Besson, I said, you know what? I want to see this guy do well, because he can go off and do rated R action movies, but then he can go and do sweet kids movies. But
and he still does art films sometimes, like Angel A, which I have not seen, but apparently was very well received. That was pretty recently.
Well, watching this, it just seemed like it was coming from the mind of like just completely schizophrenic writer. Because I mean, that's the thing. Like, there was no reason for us to ever like this family, because how sadistic they were, especially in the beat. And because here's the thing: when they get to the violence is pure like Goodfellas violence.
Yeah.
Yet they'll have De Niro do some kind of snarky line. And then you'll hear that goofy comedy soundtrack kick in. Like, you're like, wow, we just saw this guy get beat to death because, sure, he was trying to get some money out of De Niro's character, yet did it justify this guy to almost get killed over some plumbing? Yeah. And you're going to throw some goofy ass music in it just to let me know I should laugh at this?
Luc Besson is French. Maybe to him, this whole movie is a fuck you, America. This is what I think Americans are like.
It's not,
honestly, the way it starts.
Not so much.
Yeah, exactly. Because it starts like that, to where like all the French people are shitty to him. I mean, like they're shitty in that way that like, okay, you hear about French people being, rude and all, but you go like, there ain't no way that they are this rude to the people they haven't met.
It seemed like this was written by an American who really hated the fucking French. And just go, man, fuck these guys and what they stand for and what they eat, how they constantly are pissing on me about what I put in my mouth and how I live my life. Fuck them on paper. And because that's how it really felt. It felt really mean and almost cruel, to the point that every French person in here almost felt like a caricature. Well, you know what? I'm sorry. I take that back. Not just the French, but even the mob in this movie. The mob in this movie felt like
all cartoon gangsters.
They look like they were straight out of Dick Tracy.
Yes.
I mean, I kid you not. These are old guys with like the fedoras, the long trench coats. I mean, even to the point where their chins were connected to their shoulders, like looking around like,
tell me I got at least one. Hey, Muggsy.
Hey, Muggsy. Yeah, they all were called Muggsy.
It was just short of that.
It really was. It was so bad.
Flat top.
I'm a little baffled as well by the government paid for a witness protection guy to live on the French Riviera. Where do I turn state's evidence?
It's hard.
I turn in all you guys for that shit.
It's hard to divine this from the movie, but what I got was like, one of De Niro's buddies like became a political bigwig, and it's kind of like scared of him. Like, I don't want him to say too much about that we were involved. So go ahead and take care of him. Make sure you watch him. And Tommy Lee Jones is like, he's actually kind of good, but he's playing Tommy Lee Jones as he does. Of course, yeah. But he's got a way of delivering his lines. It's like, okay, this actually works. Like, there's a character in this that I like.
Yeah, he was the one character that it felt like, you know what? I like him because he's the only one who doesn't seem like a cartoon character. Yeah. Yet I felt like I don't think this guy knows that he's in a comedy. I think he's like in a straight up mob film, you know.
He still think he's in Lincoln.
Yeah, really. And that's so sad because, you know, there are moments when him and De Niro are together where it's actually fun to watch.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what should have been the meat of the story is those two, you know, the odd couple of the situation of a mob boss and his parole officer almost to where the funny thing is that this movie just cannot focus because when the movie opens up, it seems like you're watching a new HBO sitcom or something dealing with the mob boss. It's like you're having like a Soprano show with comedy because some of these subplots goes on so long, you're like, okay, I know the main plot where this mob is looking to kill De Niro and his family, but wow, they are really taking so damn long to get to that point where I'm like, you feel like, wow, with all these other subplots that they're throwing in, this feels like it's going to be a really long fucking movie.
Everybody gets a subplot, which is drawn out and kind of end up nowhere, almost all of them. And all that makes it feel like a much longer movie than it is. Cause there was a point I was like, God damn, I've been here for 2 hours. And I looked at my watch. It was like, no, an hour and 10 minutes.
Because I mean, it felt like you're watching a pilot to a TV show because it felt like these stories could keep going on and on if this family's still stuck in this small little town.
Yeah, it's like, okay, he's a psychopath, but no, he's a doddering old guy. It's De Niro. You love him. Now, there comes a point where he tells somebody like, I'm a writer. That's his cover. He just makes up. So now everybody in town thinks like, oh, he's a famous American writer. And they invite him to a film festival. Not a film festival. They want to show a film. They say it would mean so much to us if you could show up. And so we're going to show a masterpiece. And Tommy Lee Jones is like, don't you go. You can't go to this. He said, I already said I'm going to go. And, which I don't even understand why he's telling like, don't go. But he goes, they get there, and then the guy's like, oh, I'm so sorry. We don't have that film. It didn't come. But we do have another film we could show you. If you want to sit for it. Now, can you guys guess what that film might be?
The Godfather.
Oh, you're close.
Pretty
Godfather
close.
Part 2.
Something that
Goodfellas?
There you go.
Ding, 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 ding.
And I was
What do I win?
I don't know about you, but as soon as he said we have another film, and I was like, please don't let it be Goodfellas.
That's exactly
please
what I thought.
Then now they're playing out this whole joke of, hey, look, we got Robert De Niro in this movie, and Robert De Niro playing.
And I was like, wait a minute, is this movie trying to tell me that Robert De Niro his character in this movie is actually Henry from Goodfellas? I'm like, come on, man.
Do they do that thing of somebody sitting next to him like, hey, you look familiar.
You know what? I bet it's on the cutting room floor, but they actually don't show any of the movie.
You know what I realize here though? One of the things that works about these kind of mob movies where they want to make them funny, you know, they almost protect the audience. They get all the dirty stuff out the way. By the time we see these guys, we know that they've killed people.
Oh yeah.
We know that they've done bad things to people, but that's in the past and we don't have to see it.
Right.
This movie makes a mistake of making you look at all the shit that they do. And as an audience, from what you guys are saying, I kind of realize we don't want to see that shit. If we want to like these characters, we want to kind of brush that bad stuff to the side.
Right. I mean, it would have worked better if, like, you know, you realize that De Niro just took care of the bad guys, you know, when he was a mob guy. You know, usually those guys are killing other mobsters. Sure, that would have worked, but
be like the Dexter of mobsters.
Well, but exactly. I mean, that's something.
Just a serial killer.
That's something you can easily justify to yourself, going, yeah, the guy did what he had to do because, you know, he's trying to survive, he's trying to keep his family safe. Yet when he's interacting with normal people and then almost pretty much killing them. Yeah.
He drags, was it the mayor? So he drags behind his car just because he's trying to get this water plant to stop shooting out brown water. And the guy's like, I'd like to meet with you, but I got another meeting. I don't have time.
And
he
De Niro
drags him behind his car.
Yeah, De Niro is playing it so straight. I mean, you see De Niro, he's like, fuck. I mean, it's scary. It's scary.
This is a movie you only recommend to your friends who watch Fox News religiously and hate the French.
It's just one of these things where, like, look, you have an unlikable crew here. I mean, if you played it like the Addams Family, okay, maybe. But the way they're trying to do it, they're trying to have it both ways, and it doesn't work. And even there's a sloppy montage of De Niro saying, "I'm gonna give you the 10 reasons why I'm a good guy." And these scenes don't at all explain what he's saying, and none of it even makes any sense. You're like, no, you're still an asshole.
So what would you give this movie then?
Man, honestly, I was so close to, like, when I saw the name Luc Besson, I was like, I ought to give it some old bullshit on general principle. But because, like, really, like, the big shootouts, which you think, okay, Luc Besson, he made La Femme Nikita. This is where he's going to shine. No, it's actually pretty terribly shot. But at the same time, there were those things here and there that I was like, all right, that I like. And there's a good movie that could have been made. All through it, you see where a good movie could have been made, and they just pass it up. I just give it a very low rental.
By the way, that movie was called Arthur and the Invisibles.
Yeah.
He made
that. Oh, yeah. He made okay.
There were like 2 that he made in France that we hadn't seen. So, such a sweet guy going and making some crazy shit like this. I don't get it.
Well, and neither do I. I don't like I don't get this film. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, besides what I said, yeah, you were expecting because of the buildup of that shootout for something to, really cool to happen. It sounded like they even brought in Hans Zimmer to come and do the music because that music turned into The Dark Knight. And I'm just like, man, this is really tense. And that whole fight scene is intense because everyone is treating it so seriously, yet it just really felt like it came out of left field because you were just thinking, wow, the tone of this entire little segment doesn't really mesh with what they've been showing us before. This is a whole other film. But you're right. It was shot really bad. I mean, I was like, yeah, this is the guy who did Le Film de Kid and The Professional out of all movies. And this guy, I guess he took
The Professional, right, Leon?
I guess he was on lunch break when they were doing the movie. But I don't know. I'm with you. I give it a rental. It's just too bad. Yeah, Robert. Oh man, Robert De Niro, please.
That's the thing, man. On paper, every comedy looks funny.
Yeah.
You just don't know what's
Well, they got you to somebody.
Like I'm reading the script of Bullwinkle 2 right now. It's hilarious, man. But I'm sure when Robert De Niro makes it, it's not going to be so good.
Directed by Luc Besson.
Directed by Luc Besson.
Can't wait.
How's your day?
Fine.
You know what's going to happen to you and your family when they find you.
We're here to make sure that don't happen, right?
Try not to make my job impossible.
They're somewhere. Find them.
It's a cleanup operation. Get that family out of there.
I confess it's been years since I went to confession.
Your family's the incarnation of evil.
What is all this grief about?
Can I use your phone?
You don't lend your phone.
I gotta find my kids.
You're insane.
I know.